Hi there, everyone. So excited to be here today with a special program on women's empowerment. The word of the day is power, so we're very open to chat and comments to help us direct us and make us more relevant. I'm fortunate today to have Kim with us, and Kim is calling in or coming in through Europe. So, with that said, I'll have Kim introduce herself and maybe first thoughts on power, and we'll see if Beverly can get through technical issues. So, Kim, welcome to the show. Love to hear a little background and first thoughts on power.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Don. I'm really excited to be here. So I'm a health coach for midlife women, and I specialize actually in building muscle and strength, which is a bit outside of the box because most women in midlife, they know that they need something. Often they feel tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, looking for new paths because when you're over 50, you're kind of certain that half of your life is behind you, and you begin to think more seriously about what you want to do. And most women think they need maybe a magic supplement or something like this. And we have never been taught to just believe in plain pure muscle. And we have so much research now knowing that your muscle mass is a predictor of your longevity and of your quality of life. So that's sort of my focus. I'm very much into this, and I'm shouting from the rooftops that women should build muscle, and then the rest of their health and their problems is going to sort of take care of itself. And during my coaching journey, I've been coaching for 7 years now. I used to be a journalist before. And when I started out, I thought, it's easy. You just tell your clients, this is the exercise you want to do, and this is the foods you want to focus on, and that's it. That's very easy, but that's not how it works because it's not about what we need to do. Most women have a good idea of how to eat or that they need to exercise more. The question is, how do we actually do this? And the one thing that has really stunned me over the years, and it got clearer and clearer, is for many women, implementing lifestyle changes is actually a problem of power. Many women do not have enough power over their environment. Hi, Bev.
Hello.
Over their environment and their lifestyle, they lack the power actually to implement simple lifestyle changes. So it always goes much deeper than we think. And the tragic thing about this is that those women will then say, oh, it's just me. I have no self discipline. I have no self control. I can't do this. When they actually never had really enough agency to to build their environment in a way that will help them change. And I think it's quite a challenging insight because one thing is to tell women, you have to lift weights or you want to lift weights and you want to eat well, but how do you actually get them to get that power back, claim that power, claim their say in how their life is organized and built? That's not so easy.
No, that is a great point, and you make share some strong insights into what can support women going forward. So, Beverly, always happy to see you. I just kind of looked at our calendar. This is 14 months. I kept saying 8, 9 months, but
I know.
this is
That's great.
14 months of doing this on Tuesdays. So happy to have you with Kim today, and would love to hear latest updates and your initial thoughts on power.
Sure. First of all, I'm glad I had power. Okay. It took a little bit to get in today. And so I'm really glad I'm here. And when we were talking about guests, I thought that Kim would be absolutely perfect because this is a woman that does walk the talk. Okay. So if anybody's listening, yes, absolutely. By the way, let me introduce myself for those who do not know who I am and have not been here on the Tuesdays, and this is your first Tuesday. Hi, my name is Beverly Glazer, and I help women achieve the success that they want in their personal lives as well as their business because they know they deserve it and they just cannot get there. So, what I'm just piggybacking on is yes, it's about your personal power. It's what you feel you can achieve or want to achieve, but just cannot get there. So, I think, to bring Kim on, um, it's just a terrific match for that word power because when I do my podcast, Aging with Purpose and Passion, I'm not giving a TED talk. I'm telling you, I'm going on and on, but no, I interview people because everyone has a story and everyone has a book and they keep on coming over. It's not about flogging books, it's about telling stories. And Kim's story is far greater than just doing what she does. Kim really built herself up from, I'll let her tell you, but what it is, it really took personal power to get where she is today. And when we use our strengths, we can empower other people. And so, for those of you who didn't get this and want to hear Kim's story, it's Aging with Purpose and Passion. And let me tell you, that is something we have to constantly remind ourselves of, that we do have the power even when life beats us down. So I'm going to hand it back to either you, Dawn, or Kim. I lost track because I just came in right after Tim, so it may be yours. But Kim's story is amazing, and yes, that will empower you because if Kim could do it, you can do it. And it's the same thing when I empower others who are already what people would consider powerful. Do they consider themselves powerful? That's a whole different story. Okay. So the image we have on the outside is not necessarily what we hold on the inside, but we project what's there on the outside. So we have to know what our strengths are about and when to get help and when to say, I have no intention of giving up. I belong on this planet feeling a heck of a lot better than I'm feeling now. So really it's up to you. It's personal power. So Dawn, take it away.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Kim, for starting us off so well. And you are right. Stories are so important and they can inspire others. And, everybody has a story. Some of it never gets told. And sometimes people, because of that, cannot continue because there's not context, but it's always, they say facts tell, stories sell. Everybody wants to hear your story more than they want to share their story, but by sharing your story, it motivates people to share their story, especially if it's in a safe environment. So I would advocate people get out there and express themselves sincerely and honestly and share their story because everybody has one and every story is important to those people. So Kim, why don't you take it from there?
Yeah. Do you want to hear my story?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. The funny thing is that it took me close to 10 years to realize that I had a story. For me, it was just my life. That was what happened to me and what I did. And when I started sharing, I realized how much impact this story can have. And I was not aware of this. And, it's not even fair to keep it to myself because it can really give people hope. So I was diagnosed with MS in 2013, and I had a pretty bad autoimmune episode before that put me in the hospital, got completely paralyzed from the hips downwards. And I had just come back from that. And then I was diagnosed with MS. And I felt like I was in a very dark place, especially after the first episode. I thought, this is like a really low blow. Why am I not done with this thing? Why do I have to have this second thing? My kids were pretty small. And two things sort of helped me get through this. The first one was looking at the future was so scary. When you have MS, you don't know where you're going. You have no idea. You could end up in a wheelchair or blind, or you could be, just being able to move healthy, like I am now. So I could not look ahead. I could not look at the future. I had to focus on the present day. That was my only salvation to stay sane and not to be scared to death. So that's what I learned. I was forced to learn in order to really make it through each day. Just focus on that one day. Spend time with my kids. Have the best possible time with them. Enjoy every moment. And then, you live day by day. Everything becomes less scary, more manageable, and you start actually doing things because you're not, like the rabbit in the headlights. You're just focusing on something manageable in front of you. And the second thing that really helped me, I asked my doctor when I was diagnosed whether I could exercise, and he said, you want to be careful. So he was sort of trying to scare me off. I don't know why. And I don't know what he meant because he never went into any detail. And I thought that was not really very satisfying. And I was lucky because I talked to a nurse the next day who showed me how to, administer my treatment. And she said, exercise is good. Yeah, makes you fatigue resistant. It's great for MS patients. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, but why the doctor was not aware of this. He was diagnosing people, who was sort of prescribing treatments. But that tells us a little bit about how things are going these days and how some very simple tools are just not made use of because people don't know, because doctors are not trained in that way. Mm-hmm. So I started exercising. I started lifting heavy. I started lifting weights, which sounds crazy when you're just diagnosed with MS, but I knew that I could move normally. I had just some numbness in my left hand. Otherwise, I could do everything I wanted to. And I had this desire. I wanted to become physically strong and started lifting heavy, and I got better and better and better and better, stronger. The diagnosis was like 10, maybe 11 years ago. And I've been without treatment for 7 years now because I have gotten so much better. I'm not claiming that I have found a cure, but here's the thing, and here's where it connects back to power. This is how I discovered the method that I'm using now when I work with my clients, which works in a counterintuitive way, and I'm beginning to call it matter over mind. Because when you think, oh my God, I must be this person to get through this, need this kind of mindset to overcome this, I have to have this sort of disposition to make it through. And I went the other way around. I started with doing small things physically. I started lifting, and actually that created the mindset. Now we have so much science that explains and shows that actually physical activity and lifting, strength training is an incredible boost for mental health. Everything gets better when you strength train. And I think it's just so empowering to know that you do not have to be a certain type of person. You do not have to have a certain kind of nature or character, personality, whatever it is. If you start just getting physically stronger, your mind will kind of tag along and come with you, and you will become that person. And you will feel powerful because you will be able to trust your body. You will have confidence in your physical ability, and that does carry over into things. And when you lift, what do? You overcome resistance. So you learn your brain, your body learn that resistance is something that can be overcome. And I think that that's so empowering to have this knowledge like in your fiber, because you have experienced it, and that will then give you strength and the desire to change other things that you want changed in your life, that you're not just not going to take anymore, or that you're going to style in the way that works for you. So this is my message of hope, actually, is you do not need to be a certain type of person. All you need to do is start getting stronger physically, and then let the rest take care of itself.
Well, that's a beautiful story and very inspiring. And I like the matter over mind. That has stuck with me. And it also demonstrates there are no real absolutes. You can't just generalize somebody's situation and assume anything, because it's all up to the individual as to not what happens to them, but how they respond to what happens to them. And I believe the people who have optimism and have a vision of hope do a lot better than the ones who don't. So congratulations, Kim. That's such a awe-inspiring story. Just want to mention a couple people in the audience before we go forward with Beverly. Carrie has a joke that relates to Beverly. We need some
Oh.
dolphins for aging with porpoise. And then we've got Jason here. Good morning to all. Great to see you starting off the week. So with that, Beverly, how do you take it to the next level?
Well, what Kim is saying, I mean, it's so true. It's a circle, right? It's mindset. First, you have to want to do it. You have to be fed up. You have to have a vision. You have to feel that not necessarily you're capable, but I want, I need, I must, I'm not ready yet to put up with this. And I have to tell you, not everybody has that mindset. So
Mhm.
we should start to take a look at the way we start to think, because if you have the determination, which of course Kim did, and the mindset that I am not down now, I am not done, I am not finished, you will find a way, and you will self advocate through what the medical profession or anybody will say. And that's what we're talking about here, personal power, the feeling that I can do it, I can make it better. I will find somebody who will make it better and help me get through whatever I need to get through. And it really has to start right up here. And it's about owning, not in denial and saying, this is what I'm stuck with. And when I'm listening, and I was listening to Kim's story, and how determined she was. I have no story quite like that. But everybody gets shot down every now and again. And it's like, whoa, what the heck happened? You know? And I mean, I hear stories all the time. And one particular one was from out of nowhere. Her husband was diagnosed with leukemia and lived for a week in the hospital waiting for treatments, immediate treatments, and never made it. Here, this man was 47 years old. Were they counting on this? No. Do we get knocked down? All the time. But like Kim, she had small children. She has small children. And it's like, how did this happen? Why did this happen? After this all goes down, you can start saying, I'm a victim. What can I do? And carry that victimology. Yes, you're hurting. You can't just change it. You can't just make it happen. But you can always do the very, very best that you can do. And it takes mindset. It absolutely does. It's like determination, not denial, not saying, oh, yeah, I'm strong. No, I don't want help. It's yes, I do want help. And yes, I do need help. And how can you help me? That's strength. It's not, I can do it myself. You know, that when you do it yourself, what you're doing is you're sacrificing all kinds of needs of, in this case, your children. Because if you think that you could do it yourself, you need care too. You need to be able to be calm. You need to be able to help yourself. You need to be able to grieve. You need to be able to go through all kinds of things to give you the power that you need to go through it. And so when I'm talking about mindset, when I'm talking about power, it's personal power, and to own your story, no matter what it is, you can do something about it rather than saying, oh, poor me, these people have this, I don't. Kim could easily have said that, why me? And it's like, yeah, you do go through the why me, no question, no question. And you do have anger and you do have resentment, but you also have to say, okay, stay in the present and one step at a time. What can I do that's going to make my life better? And that's the key to your own personal power. That's the key. And I just have to put in one baby step here because we had a guest here, and some of you would remember her. She's wonderful. Janine Kathleen Shapiro. She was talking about, and she was also a guest on my show. Okay. She talks about spirituality. And, you know, I have the techniques. Yes, of course, I'm spiritual, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not going to go out as a spiritual coach. No. Okay. I can teach meditation. I can integrate all this in your life, but that's not the way I work. But she is. And I was talking to her, and actually I was on her show, and and I said, oh my gosh. And I complained. And I said, oh, I developed this arthritis in my back. It's so painful. I said, it's just like my mother. I cannot believe it. I went through this osteoarthritis thing in my back, 3, 4. We were going through all the doctor appointments and stuff, and she said, Beverly, you're not your mother. Don't even think it. Okay, now just think. I tell other people all kinds of things, right? Well, yes, I need it too. I'm human. Okay. And so she says, you're not your mother. It's not your mother's body. You just start doing affirmations that'll work for you. And guess what? I did. But what really left me was not so much the affirmation, because when you do an affirmation, it has to matter to you. But what it left is, it's not my mother's body. Sure, we share genes, but my mother didn't practice yoga, and my mother didn't do meditation. And I've been like working on this, and my mother, poor thing, she did the best that she could do, but she refused to do anything that, believe it or not, my father was a doctor, told her what to do. Okay. No, she fought it. Okay. And I'm not doing it. What I am doing is I'm doing what I know works for me. And quite frankly, I keep getting better and better every day. I really do. Yes, occasionally I carry a cane, but I say, so what? It's my magic wand and I need it. Okay. Not, oh, I can't, right? What it is, darn, I'm not done yet. And that's the important thing, and that's what you do, empowering others. Because once you start feeling stronger, the attitude changes. But when you start thinking of the pain, you're allowing the pain to win, because the more you think of pain, guess what? This is a brain thing. It's not something that's happening neurologically in my back. Of course it is. There's damage there. But what it is the pain. Focus on what you have, and you're going to get it more. So if you focus on strength, If you focus on building up, you focus on positive things, what happens is it lessens. Your muscles get stronger. You're working at it. You're moving forward. So, once again, I was going to say no TED Talk. It was a TED Talk. Sorry, guys.
Well, to me, that was a bonus, Beverly. So thank you for that. And, I agree that all you need to do is what you can do at the time you can do it. And little things over time done right compound and continue bigger things. I just added some weight training, and it's amazing how you start feeling things you didn't know were there, right? And it kind of wakes things up. So, the other big benefit today is no one has to deal in a vacuum. There's so much YouTube out there, there's so many TED Talks, there's so much information that knowledge can be power because most people think the worst when something comes up. It's like, oh, now I have something. Well, you had something before you heard you had something, and it
That's
didn't
right.
seem to affect you that much. But now, when someone categorizes you as in a group, you
Yeah.
start feeling like, you know, how did this happen? But the question is what can you do about it? That saying, inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard, is take comfort in yourself and also build some more self-care. Sometimes you got to pull in and help yourself before you can help so many others. And plus, it's your story. How do you want your story to unfold? Again, like Beverly says, do you want to be a victim? Do you want to be a hero? And when you do things you didn't think were possible or you were capable of, it builds opportunity for more of that because that's when belief starts happening, when you start feeling some level of success. And just knowing I'm going to do something about this gets you on the road. It's only, not only, but typically the people who, wow, I've already got this diagnosis or situation. It can happen in other things besides medical issues. It can happen in relationships and everything else that could be personal. But the saying is, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And once you can take ownership and responsibility and accountability, things start changing, right? When you start using doctors as an aid instead of as a director, because they have no idea how you feel inside. They have no idea what your potential is. They typically give you the course of most people's situation, but you're not most people. You're you. And you can help not only yourself, but like Kim is doing, helping so many others through her story and through her assistance. So that's just fabulous. Kim, love to hear your next thoughts.
Yeah. So first of all, with you saying that integrated working with weights and you feel the difference already. This is, of course, makes my heart sing because this is something, yes, step by step, inch by inch, yard by yard. But when you start strength training, the effects show, in the way you feel very quickly. So I love that. It's absolutely amazing. And in the world of instant gratification, I think this is one of the fastest progress that you can actually achieve. I want to come back to power because you both mentioned doctors and doctors' appointments. And I think when we start needing medical help, talking to doctors, getting diagnosed, um, that's a big, big danger zone when it comes to losing your power. It's so easy because I mean, you might be in pain or in fear, and you so want comfort and hope, and it's so easy to sort of just give yourself up to what the doctor says. I speak to many women. They say, oh, I have this thing, I don't know exactly what it is, but the doctor gave me this thing that I take against it. So they don't really know what's going on with their own bodies. They have sort of surrendered all control and command to the doctor. And I think that's not even fair for the doctor. If you want to keep your power, um, you need to ask all the questions. You need to know what's going on. Don't. Uh, I talked to a weightlifting colleague the other day. He had shoulder problems and he got an injection. And I said, "What did they inject you with?" And he said, "I have no idea." I said, "What? You want to know? You don't have to be a medical expert and think, oh my God, is this the right substance in the molecule?" No, but you want to know what's going on because that's the only way that you'll be able to self-advocate. You need to stand up for yourself because nobody else is going to do this. And I think the doctor also deserves somebody, a patient who knows what they need. And I think this is a big, big problem also when it comes to power, claiming your power, exerting your power. We often lack clarity on what is it that I need and what is it that I want. Am I really clear on that? Do I want to become healthy, become stronger, leaner, eat better? Or do I want my drinking buddies to still love me? Do I want my husband to still feel happy munching, I don't know, snacks on the sofa with me? And I know that this sounds harsh, but that's often the choice.
Sure.
And the problem is not so much that, the mean husband wants you to stay heavy and tired. The problem is that you are not clear on what you need and you are not communicating clearly, what you want to do, what you need for that to happen. So it happens all the time. The husband will say, "Oh, I know that my wife, she loves all those pretzels, so I'm going to buy them again and again." Because you never said, "I need your help to stop this. I need your help to be able to go to the gym. Can you take over a chore? Can you do something?" And if we have not that clarity for ourselves, then how are we going to communicate that? And I think this is a big, big power drain because we don't know what's right for us. We're not clear on what we need. We're not clear on what we want. And we're unable to communicate that clearly. And then we feel like a victim, like stuff is happening to us because we haven't had our say. But we haven't had our say because we haven't we haven't been clear about what we needed to say in order to obtain what we need. And it's in everyday life, but I think that when you deal with doctors, it's particularly tricky, and you really need to make sure that you keep asking questions, that you keep speaking up, because otherwise you'll be just sent on your way with a prescription, and before you know it, you're like you totally lost your power.
Yeah, go ahead, Beverly.
Oh, well, Kim touched on some really amazing things, really terrific pointers. The first one is fear. When you're in a hospital and you're not feeling well, and they're telling you the diagnosis, and they're giving you all the information, and you're still not feeling well, feeling weak, feeling in pain, you feel you have no power. But what Kim just advised is no matter how you're feeling, as long as your mind is working, you do have power. What are you giving me? And you do not have to be a medical professional to know that perhaps this morphine is going to make me feel good now, but it may not make me feel good later. But where am I going to go with this? And maybe say, okay, no, give me the morphine. And when you're discussing this, I have to bring on, because her, Dawn, as well. And maybe you do, Kim, from online. This is Kathy Tarconi, who is the most amazing, and I will tell you, person I know, strong, powerful, unbelievable. Here is a woman, 78 years old. She has COPD and developed COVID. And you cannot breathe in the best of times, ends up going into the hospital. She's been going in for many, 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 many incidents. She has her vision. Her vision is to build the Golden Life community. That's a community for older women, 55 plus. They've already started building that. And there's an online community of which I'm a part of, and in which I encourage every woman to join, because it's through empowering other women. Well, she has been in the ICU. Okay. It's rampant COVID throughout her whole body. And she's been still working on the community. Unbelievable. Okay. Because she's not ready yet, although she was, told she's very, very close and probably, the time will be there. Well, she's hit many times like that. And this one, my goodness, when she was just writing to me, and I say, don't even write because it takes too much strength, just be well. Um, they've been trying to make her better. She has long term COVID. And what she said to me at one time when I just wrote her on Facebook Messenger, how are you doing? I want to go home. And guess what? She has gone home. They made provisions. That's what she said. She was part of the team. That's what we were talking about when Kim was saying, you are the advocate. She knew on many occasions what was going on in her body. And as soon as COVID, because she has long term COVID, and she was somewhat strong enough, she went home with support system, with team helping her out, home care. But it's unbelievable. And then she sent me just now what she's been doing with the community on the newsletter that she's putting out, who's going to be taking her place, because she's going to be out for a good 8 months because with long-term COVID and everything else that her poor body is suffering and struggling with. So when I'm talking about power, beyond, okay? It's vision, it's mindset, it's I am not done yet, it's self advocacy, it's knowing what you want and be determined to get it because her poor, frail body is just hanging on. And her mind is holding on for as long as it possibly can. So when you think of this, people, and I use that. I mean, I tell her she's an inspiration for all of us because, when you're aging, I don't know who said it, old age is not for sissies, right? Well, okay. It's very easy, and society is ready to tell you, step along. We have younger people, they'll take your place. It's, you don't know this, you don't know online. She creates websites, she does all these amazing things that you would think someone her age, not only in her condition, if you can think about it, is not supposed to do, right? Move over. Okay. We have other people. So, but no, it's her vision. And yeah, we have to admire these people, look up to them. And women in particular are ones that have to look up to and support other women. And that's in the workplace and that's everywhere because from birth, we've been told not to use our voice, to be nice little girls, not to be strong and lift weights. That's for men,
Yeah.
and even younger women who are told online and everywhere else that you can do this and you should do this. But the whole idea is you still have to be pretty and you still have to be nice. And yes, you could be pretty and nice and everything else, but you also have to be you. So you have the power. And if I'm to leave you with anything today, mindset, you have the power. And Kim, that when you go into a weight competition and you're going to say, I cannot lift that weight, it's too heavy for me, you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Yeah.
Well, I think what we bring up here is you got to be your own best advocate and best friend no matter what you're involved in.
Yeah.
And, we talk about team, and there is power to having a team. And I know when I visit my doctor, and I've been fortunate, I've never even spent a night in the hospital yet, is I always tell them, you're going to be my backstop, not my front door, which means I'm going to do everything I can on my own first. And then if
Exactly.
it doesn't work, and you need someone who will listen, not just talk.
Hmm.
People have an open ear and want to hear what you have to say and why you have to say it. And the other thing is like Beverly just mentioned, and Kim, you have to have supportive uh, support around you. You need to have the family get with you and get supportive of you. And you've got to be clear as to what you need. You don't want to be somewhat cryptic and give out hints. You need to be direct. If it's that important, if your health, if your business, if your relationships are at stake, don't be timid, and it's better to find out early than to find out later. And plus, there's no reason for someone to say, well, if you would have just told me, or if I would have known, I might have been able to help you more. So you're really not helping you or them, especially if they care and love you so much, is people want to know, what is there anything I can do? And it's like, well, I'm going to have to go exercise for an hour a day, or I'm going to have to go and read poetry for an hour a day, and that'll make me feel better. You get a choice every day as to what day you're going to have by what you set out to do. And if you decide today is my day, and maybe you take a lot of my days for a while until you get things where you want them, and it's surprising that what you give is usually what you get, and it's the givers who get the most because they set the model for other people. We had Bob Berg here who wrote the Go Giver book series, and he inspired me through that book, and you can inspire others. And there's also something to being in a support group, being with other people who are experiencing what you're experiencing and know exactly what you're dealing with and can help each other, because, first of all, you're not alone. And alone is the worst place you want to be, especially when you're dealing with any challenges. And you never know what tomorrow brings, and you can't. But you know what today can do and what you can do for you,
Yes.
right? And at the end of the day, if you say, boy, this was a beautiful day, it sets the tone and it sets the momentum for the next day. Because once you get belief, I didn't know I could do that. And I did it so well, it took me a while. Now, what's the next climb? When I started with weights, I started really low. Why? Because I wanted it comfortable. Too many people get into competition. I can do more. Well, when that time comes, what you want is consistency of activity. You don't
Yes.
want to stop and start. Quitting never does anything. It makes you wonder, why should I start again? And enjoy what you have while you have it. Not wait for more, because more may not come. And that's the whole key. Life is short as it is. It doesn't have to be a challenge within yourself. You got enough to deal with outside of yourself. So with that, Kim, love to hear more of what you have to bring to the power of conversation.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of thoughts about power and women empowerment when it comes to the way our world is built at the moment. Because living a healthy life is not a given. It's not a given. And we still live in this idea that, we're just living our lives and we might be blessed with good health or we might be unlucky. But the way the world is built today, we have to go out of our way to be healthy. We have to really, I always say, we have to fight for our right to move. And look at this, you can have your food, your entertainment, your work, you don't have to leave your house for this. You can do everything sitting on a sofa, which is killing your body. Sitting for long hours on end is actually killing your body. It's destroying the balance in your body. Your body is optimized to move. It's healthiest when you move as much as you can. So here we are in this world where we actually need to stand up, speak up, and say, I'm fighting for my right to move. So I want this hour off to go to the gym, or I want to take a walking meeting instead of a sitting meeting. Um, I want to go and get whole foods and not be delivered processed junk. So you have to stand up, speak up for yourself. If you just want to be healthy, I mean, I'm not even talking about, becoming a millionaire or becoming a top athlete or a superstar. I'm just talking about being healthy. You have to stand up and fight for that today. Now, look at how women of our generation, Bev, have been brought up. Have we been brought up to stand up and speak up and say, I need this, I want this? So, our education, the way we have been socialized, like, you want to be pretty, you want to be tiny, you want to be elegant, you want to be all kinds of things, but of course, not bossy, not pushy, not muscular, not anything. The way we have been brought up is becoming a health hazard for us because we have not learned to stand up and speak up and say, hello, I need this. I have to go for my walk every day. And it's no luxury, it's just plain basic foundational health. And this is where my mission is so challenging. I want to help women see that this is something they really need for their health, for their basic living. It's not some fancy stuff. It's not some weird idea or something crazy that you don't really need, and it's just for you to feel better. It's basic health. You have to stand up and fight today for basic health, for getting chances to walk. And I know that in the US, it's even harder. I mean, here we can walk all day. We can walk to bus stations. We can walk from one neighborhood to the next. It's all sort of doable on foot. And I know that in the US, there are some places where there's not even a sidewalk. So, how on earth are you going to be able to work on your own health and make sure that your body gets everything it needs? It's hard. And this is where women really need a bit of a mindset shift and understand that speaking up for their needs and speaking up for being strong physically and moving as much as they can is really an act of it's coming close to basic self-defense, because if you don't do that, your body is going to deteriorate. You cannot be healthy if you do not move like every day. Your body needs that, and there's so many ailments. And even it's always, when I hear from about new studies, I always smile. So somebody comes, oh, it's a new study on gut health. Yeah, gut health is a big thing right now. It's all in the gut, and it's all those bacteria that we need. So what's the first and the biggest factor for gut health? It's exercise. Your body needs movement to be like in harmony and in balance. And we need to understand that. And then as women, we need to speak up and say, this is what I need. And I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for the basics because I want to be healthy. And that's where we need to really have the power, exert the power, make sure that nobody takes it away from us, and we make sure we stay healthy and we can do what we need to do to be in good shape.
Well said. Beverly.
Very, very, very well said. Yes, absolutely. We live in the land of plenty, and it's gotten to us. And I'm talking about North America here, pretty well, after World War II, where all this processed food came out, and no nutrition, but the food looks lovely, and fats and all kind. I don't want to go into diet and lack of nutrition, but it's become a lifestyle. It really has. And I've heard from clients trying to lose weight, and of course it's all about mindset. The first thing is, I love that. And guess what? You get cravings to have that. And those cravings are really strong. This happens to be a brain thing. And when you're talking about processed foods, they have psychologists, they're talking about neurobiology. They actually test to see what tip of the tongue experience you get with the next new flavor that they put out on your chips or whatever they put it out on. And let me tell you, you're hardwired. You're hardwired to sweet, you're hardwired to salty. And it's that tip of the tongue experience that says, I want more. And immediately you start judging yourself. And when you judge yourself, it's like, I can't, I have no willpower. How many times do I hear that? I'm sure you've heard that, willpower. And I say, there's no such thing as willpower. It's either, do you want to do it? Or do you not want to do it? It's not about power at all. It's really about boundaries, like you said, being able to say no. And you're going to get cravings, but it's not as bad, but it's pretty bad as alcohol or drugs, because it wires your brain. It's the same pleasure centers in your brain. Okay. But you're not going to have these withdrawal effects. Yes, you're going to want it. There's all kinds of techniques to change your mindset, et cetera, et cetera. But when you start feeling good, as Kim said, then you start noticing that your body is feeling better. And if you take these carbs, you're going to feel bad afterwards. But the brain is going to say, yum, take it. And as soon as it is going to connect with your mouth, that chocolate or that chocolate cake that your mom used to make that came from your grandmother back in the day, blah, 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 you're going to finish it because it comes right back. There's such a thing as emotional eating. It's not that, and it goes on and on. So when Kim was saying, you have to say no, you have to go back to your personal values. How do you feel? How do you want to feel? It's not immediate gratification. Your power is everywhere. It's in the health system. It's being powerful with your family and saying, you know what, guys, we're not going on a diet. I hate that D word, because what it is it says that there's a restriction. And I hate putting restrictions on anything. Go ahead, eat anything you like, but you're going to pay consequences for it, won't you? And so what happens is you make personal choices. And when you start making those choices, guess what? There's a choice to either feel good or not so much. There's a choice to feel strong, or you've chosen maybe not to, or maybe not that day. But when you own it, whoa, it's a huge change in mindset. So I encourage everybody to start understanding, what do you want to do? And that's where your personal mission comes involved. And it's like, if this year I want to be healthy, it's coming to New Year's resolutions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to lose weight until March. Okay.
No,
And then
January 23.
Exactly. Pretty well. I gave it March, just in case. But anyway, yeah, let's just go back to that. And Kim, thank you for that, because it's true. When you're sitting on the sofa, do you want those Cheetos? Because you can get them. You can get them. You can go to McDonald's drive-through and you don't even have to walk. You just drive through. No problem. So what do we want? And what do we think is good for us? And if you want what's good for you, it's a win-win. And if you want the Cheetos, that's up to you. But don't say, I can't, I have no willpower.
Yeah, those are wonderful points, Beverly. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Go ahead.
That's it. No.
Oh, okay.
Back to Kim.
Okay. Well, it brings to mind that, I'm always continuously trying to improve. I brought in intermittent fasting, which to me was 7 at night to 7 in the morning. So it's not huge, but it's something. I had brought apple cider vinegar in. I brought olive oil in, and I eat the same thing pretty much every day. I can change the fruit on my yogurt in the morning. But to help yourself is you can't eat it if you didn't buy it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go shopping, don't bring it in, because if it's sitting there looking at you and you're looking at it, and it's usually a habit from the past. The other thing is justifying it, right? The less I buy, the less I spend, the less I have to store, the less I have to bring home, the less I have to cook, the less I have to clean up. Look at all the time you pick up, and results really make a difference. if all of a sudden you say to yourself, as I'm getting older, I'm getting better, not expected to be worse, and it's all relative. And you have to give yourself some grace that, hey, at a certain point, I'm not going to be able to do everything I used to do, but I can do things I never did before, right? And it's about substitution, right? Instead of this, I'll take that. And, I do 5 miles a day, been doing it every day for about 25 years. And I agree, I would miss it. I would absolutely miss it if I skipped a day because I wouldn't feel as energetic. I wouldn't feel as alive. And when you get to the point where you can't wait to see yourself the next day, right? Is you're so much into what you're doing and how it's working for you, and it rubs off on other people, right? Because as they see it and you're proving it to them, it kind of proves it to themselves, and they say, "Why not give it a shot?" And I think there's always that hope possibility that goes along with your journey. And why not be your best friend and do the right things? You are what you eat. And the two things you can control is exercise and diet. Those are truly in your corner. And enough of that, you won't need it as much as something else. So, uh, this has been just a great, powerful conversation.
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to Kim for final thoughts.
Yeah, there's one thing that Bev said that really uh, caught my attention, and it's something that most people are not aware of. We have these ancient brains. They are hardwired to eat all the time as much as we can, because that's how humanity survived. And we live now in an environment where food is around us 24/7. Some people even call this an evolutionary trap, because we have this hardwired old brain driving us to eat in a way that makes us sick because we eat too much. And our reasonable self, our like the small human on the big elephant, uh, doesn't really stand a chance when this powerful brain gets triggered, and the food industry knows how to trigger it. Your reasonable self, is just, it's defeated in advance, because just imagine, this is what made humanity survive, which that helped us, become this species. Can you imagine how powerful that is? And your little sort of brain from a few thousand years ago that says, oh, but I can look at the future and I have these lofty goals. It really doesn't stand a chance. And I think it's crucial that people have this awareness that they are not bad people. They are not greedy or lazy. We have this brain that we're born with, and we cannot fight it. What we can learn is to manage it, to be aware, to know, oh, I can tell I'm stressed out. So all of a sudden I'm thinking of chocolate. And when you have this awareness, you create a little bit of distance with the emotion, with the sensation. And that little distance, it's a very old mindfulness technique, decreases the intensity of the emotion of the sensation. And you can do that with all kinds of things. But when it comes to these eating triggers, if you are aware and realize, oh yeah, of course it's all you can eat, and my old brain thinks I still might starve tomorrow, so it's going to sort of try and shovel everything in that it can get in. If you realize this and you have this awareness, then you can tell, no, there's still going to be food tomorrow. There's no way this is going away. So that will help you manage this powerful, hungry brain. I don't think we can fight it. I don't think we can overrule it. But if we learn how to read it, we can preempt, we can manage. And the wonderful thing about this is it takes so much shame and guilt out of the whole process, because so many people feel ashamed or guilty when they eat too much, when they get triggered, when they love those foods. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. It's just how we are built. And if you know that, you feel relieved. And because shame and guilt will also cause more tension, that will cause more desires for comfort, this is like a vicious cycle. When you break that and say, okay, I'm just a human and I'm going to learn to manage this, it becomes easier and much more effective than if you want to really control your eating and your weight.
Well, it sounds like you learned so much over time that you've been able to share with others like ourselves in the audience. So really appreciate. Osman is in the audience. Just wanted to mention that. Chap it up with people doing good work. Best wishes. And a new individual, Niamat. Hope I pronounced it well, is here. Good morning. And with that, I'll swing it back to Beverly.
Okay, well, we really covered a lot of turf. Okay. And to go and kind of wind it all down, you have the power and you have the choice. And I've helped people change all kinds of behavior from all kinds of addictions, not only food addiction, but alcohol, drugs, you name it, the list, shopping, compulsive shopping, you name it, name it, name it. It's not you. Hello. It's really the escape that you're going into. How Kim was saying, we're talking about the brain, the reptile brain, okay, literally back here goes, wow, I need it, I must have it. But it's all mindset, and you could change that mindset. And so you can follow me on reinventimpossible.com, or you can get my self-coaching tips. That's right in my profile on LinkedIn and just about everywhere else. And yeah, contact me. By all means, I talk to everybody to get out of your own mindset. I can give you 15 minutes. And, you know, let's do this. You know, you have the power. You really do. We all have the power. It's not just you, all of us, but we have to want to. Not just say we want to, like Kim said, yes, I want to lose weight, but do something about it. Follow it forward and get a little help. It's just encouragement. It's not forcing you to do anything. You have to be the one to say, I have the curiosity. I want to see what I can do. That's all it takes. Go for it.
Well, that's great. And I want to invite everybody to reach out to Beverly and Kim if you liked what you heard today. And if you're aligned, be great to connect with each other and build with each other, because it is the team that you surround yourself with. So why not start with people who are already where you want to be and can help you get to where they are? And we always say, if you can't do it, could we do it? And I think that's a big positive to it. So with that said, beautiful conversation. Thank you, Beverly, for
Great
the word
conversation.
power. Thank you, Kim, for being here. You
Thanks
sure
for having
made,
me.
made a difference in my life today, and I'm surely going to take some of your inspiration and carry it forward. And Beverly, I could never say enough about you, so that's why
Thank
we
you.
have so many shows together. So come back tomorrow. We've got Carol Dakin
Oh, yeah.
talking about funding, and Thursday we've got Kelly with Dave